Hey everyone, so I thought I'd make a video today to pretty much address something which I think is at the back of everyone's head, whether they think about it at a conscious level or ultimately at an unconscious level. And I think it's the essence of the nature of time loop. So this matrix or reality, whatever you want to call it, that we live in, it's bound by repetition. And you know, it starts from a young age, whether you really think about it from school, waking up at the same time every day, putting on your uniform, putting on your blazer, then obviously same thing at university, waking up for classes every day, then it's you get slowly indoctrinated, then it's the workplace, get up at 6 a.m., put on your suit, which is similar to your school blazer if you really think about it. So there's, just the, perpetual time loop, which is following you even into adulthood. We see these ideas in movies like The Matrix, The Truman Show, Groundhog Day. To an extent, people, I think there's a reason why these movies were so popular. I think it's ultimately because of people recognize there's a remnant of truth in these movies that we watch. And for a large part of my life, I actually felt quite despondent once I saw that to a degree we're all subject to the nature of a time loop, because we are subject to time. That's the reality, so a large part of my inner work has been focused on how can we escape the time loop, if you will. And truth be told, given that this reality is bound by the law of time, escape can have a subjective meaning, but I have found my own version of escape, if you will, from this time loop. And ultimately, if you really think about it, if I say the word time loop, how does that feel within? Is it a positive, negative connotation? Personally, for myself, I've always seen the repetition of events and, as I was saying, like waking up early for work, waking up early for school as negative things, because it just feels boring. And that's why I think everyone looks forward to a Friday, because it's like almost that sense of novelty on the weekend. Oh, am I going to go party? Am I going to meet someone? Am I going to, go fishing with my friends? People don't really know what's going to happen in the weekend. That sense of freedom from the time loop is ultimately what gives them that excitement, which is why I've searched for it for quite long. And the best answer I've come up to, I guess, to address the escape of this time loop is quite simple, yet quite complex. And essentially what it comes down to is your time loop is the culmination of the habits you're choosing. So let's take the waking up early, going to work, putting on your blazer, time loop. Getting in a subway with people, everyone's looking at their phone, you love that for 4 years, you're not going to feel the happiest. Now, well, at least for me, I don't know, maybe some people like the whole subway, being a sardine in a train. I don't really like that. If you do like it, cool for you though. Hope one day I can reach that. But the essence of it is, the reason I didn't really like that experience is because it wasn't resonating internally for me, and I felt I was stagnating. So what I started trying to do is saying, okay, well, I don't like certain aspects of this time loop. What parts of my life do I like? So I loved going to the gym. I really loved, listening to new music. I really loved reading. I really loved, anything which could grow me spiritually. I loved meditation. I loved, just really augmenting my essence physically, spiritually, and mentally. And I realized there were certain aspects of my current time loop, whether it's work commitments, whether it's, having to do your taxes, whether it's the admin, doing groceries on the weekend, all of these matrixy time loops were purloining my own goals, my own personal goals. And that's why I had a negative view towards the time loop. So then one day, just to give you background, when I started questioning this all, I actually used to really be the weakest kid in the class. I used to be, sorry this is a bit off topic, but just to give you a background of when I started questioning the nature of this time loop. I used to be the weakest kid in gym class, couldn't even do one push-up, and I was stuck in a time loop of basically being the weakest kid. I was literally nearly failing gym class, and you know, it was just horrible. I couldn't, when I was doing sports, I'd always be in the worst team. And then it actually got to high school, and I had to get into university. Now gym class actually became an important on my report. And I thought, you know what? I need to pass gym class. I'm going to practice push-ups every day. I'm going to practice sit-ups every day. And I did this, and I could only do one a day. And that time loop repeated. Then the next day, I could still only do one a day. But then the funny thing is, once I started doing that one push-up every single day, at the end of week 3, I was doing 10. Then 10 push-ups became my new norm. You know, I just kept repeating this. And the culmination of those small efforts slowly broke that old time loop of me not being strong enough, me not being fit enough, and ultimately, you know, not doing well in the gym class, to really becoming the strongest kid in class. I went from doing, you know, only being able to do 1 or 2 push-ups to 50 push-ups. So what it came down to at the heart of it was my time loop was broken by implementing new habits which enriched me instead of taking away from me. That is the essence of it. I'm using obviously this whole me being afraid of failing gym class as a good example, but if you really think about it, the single push-up a day contributed over time and led to a positive time loop. And this is the same with sports people, or with, you know, if you really look at Ronaldo, everyone wants to be Ronaldo, but no one wants to be in the time loop of waking up at 4 a.m. and practicing free kicks, you know, until it becomes second nature. So in essence, what determines the time loop and what you call a time loop and how that feels to you and how to break it is to decide, I'm going to implement a new set of habits, which is essentially going to overlay this matrix time loop, and I'm going to actually use these habits to be accretive towards me. So if you really start saying, okay, I'm going to read 10 minutes a day. I'm going to go jogging 10 minutes a day. I'm going to go gymming 10 minutes a day. I'm going to meditate 10 minutes a day. But you really keep to that and you make that your new time loop. And like I said, it's going to feel like not the greatest time loop to begin with, because it's still going to take quite a long time for you to reap the fruits of those positive effects. Just how it's the same. A lot of people, when they have their midlife crisis, they have that huge mental breakdown at 40 because it's the culmination of those negative habits they didn't want to do. So now you need to say, hey, I want to overcome this matrix time loop by implementing new actions which are accretive to me. And I'm going to repeat them every single day. And I know that in a year or 2, I'm going to be a better version of myself. And the truth be told, I've done this. So, you know, using the jogging example, using the gym example. So I started jogging 50 minutes a day. My lungs were on fire. I was like coughing. Now I can do 4 kilometers, and I do 4 kilometers a day. Now I'm doing that every day. You know, now I'm meditating every day. And I guess what I've also realized is that forms another time loop. Eventually it becomes easy. But that's okay. Your mind's going to, you know, eventually you're going to hit a new level. And then you decide, okay, my new positive habits aren't really growing me anymore. I'm stagnating a bit. Now, this has become a time loop for me again. I'm going to choose growth, and I'm going to take it a step further. Now I'm going to run 30 minutes a day, or, you know, instead of just doing meditation, I am, you know, going to also read some spiritual books and supplement that. And that's, you've created a new habit. You've broken the loop again. Then you just keep adding that on until your life almost just becomes flow. And it's no longer, it's just always dynamic. It's always improving. And that's the place you want to be. And look, it's going to be habit. It's going to be a habit game. As I say, what determines time loop, the culmination of positive habits, is how aligned is that within you. Okay, so breaking the time loop sits with you. And you have to consent. For my whole life, I used to say, oh, you know, I don't want to be a part of this matrix. I don't want to wake up, you know, work every day. I don't want to have to do all this admin, you know, do groceries, clean my house, repeat this in perpetuity. How can I do anything else? Then I said, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. And a large portion of your time loop, just remember this, probably the most important thing, large portion of your time loop is your mental pattern. So I've mentioned the physical, the actual getting there done. A large portion of your time loop is being determined by your thoughts. So you're thinking, oh, this time loop's so toxic, this time loop's so toxic. So if you're thinking that, obviously your time loop's not going to be great. So a large portion of this is also looking at your mental habits. How are you seeing the world? How do you actually want your life to be? And I guess, how do you change these habits? You need to look at your limiting beliefs. You need to practice journaling. There are multiple aspects where you can grow in this, and I'll make more videos on it. But ultimately, even just being aware of your thoughts, just being aware, and I made previous videos on this which can help you do that. Even just being aware of your thoughts is going to help you break a time loop, because you're going to maybe think, you'll start to understand why you don't understand your time loop and where these thoughts are coming from. And then from there, those thoughts are going to be such a gift to you, because they're going to say, hey, you're going to understand, I don't like this time loop, and that's going to be a signpost where you need to go. And then you're going to just keep adding on positive habits to the time loop. But you need to take accountability. You can't look at the matrix and the way this whole system's designed as a ticket to say, oh, I'm just going to sit on my bed. You can do that. You can, and you're allowed to. It's what most people do. But are you going to actually take the responsibility for your own life to say, I do not consent to this time loop. I'm going to pick something better for myself. I'm going to implement small habits which I know. I'm going to use this system's time loop repetition to grow me instead of subjugating me. Once you do that, that's where the magic happens. And I guess the choice lies with you. The choice lies with you. As I say, if you guys are looking for simple things you can do, very easy ones, meditate every day, jog every day, read a book every day, do something which resonates with your soul every day. Each person has their own thing within them which makes their heart glow. You know, for me, I really love music, so I really just try to connect with music every day, whether that's music production, whether that's just listening to a good song where I can just be mindful and present. Find what those things are. And if you don't know what they are, get in the habit of watching. Get in the habit of watching, because not everyone knows what they are. I don't blame them. We're stuck in the system for so long we forget who we are. So just get in the habit of watching, and from there, you're going to have those signposts direct, invest day by day in your habits, and you'll be surprised at what happens. So anyway, I hope that kind of helps. I've, to a degree, transcended the time loop and how you can use this repeating pattern of this time matrix to work for you instead of against you. Thanks, and I hope you guys have a great non-toxic day ahead.